So, like I said, I'm the managing director of BZ Paintball. So my main role is really making sure everyone's doing what they should be doing, but also the purchasing and speaking to a lot of the suppliers, setting up new suppliers on that side. I've worked here from the very beginning, so when we used to work out of my bedroom on getting our first unit, so just over 20 years.
I'm a director at BZ. My day-to-day work involves me making sure the website is up to date, making sure that new products are on there, making sure that content is on there. Generally, IT stuff in the building, that's my responsibility. And I would also get involved with pretty much everything else as well, you know, answer emails, take calls, customer service, work in the shop, work at events, and I've been at BZ since it started.
I actually used to own Zone Paintball, so I'm one of the directors still of Zone Paintball, which are all the sites. Up until recent time, last September, I worked for GI, and I came over as a consultant for BZ. So my job literally is to go out, visit all customers that we've had for years, and literally help them out with their tech support, because obviously my background has been in teching, as well as obviously helping out with field and field sales.
My role here is general manager, and I've been here now 12 years, I think it is, in May. Basically it involves the general overseeing of the day-to-day running of the business, processing orders, order checking once the orders are down in the warehouse, purchase orders, customer emails, dealing with customers on the phone.
My role at BZ is to deal with all the paintball sites, all the trade inquiries, and set up their accounts from start to finish, and work with unique briefs as well as the day-to-day retail sales and making sure everyone gets the best customer service we can provide.
I'm the warehouse manager here. I make sure whatever they are thinking upstairs happen in real life. Customer gets their order in good time and order, and it's been 2 years I'm here now.
My role here is a slightly made up role, but it's the head of the Airsoft division, as it'll say on my business card. And I've worked here for, I'd say, coming on 2 years in April.
So I'm the digital marketing manager here at BZ, and I've been here 2.5 months so far.
I mean, I guess the obvious thing is probably just the size of the business, where we're at now to where it was when we started. Obviously branched out into the Airsoft as well.
I would say paintball in general, the industry is a lot more professional than it was when we first got into it. The kit, I would say the biggest difference is the kit these days is a lot more reliable than it was.
Warehouse, there's the first one. We were in a very, very small warehouse. Now we're in a very, very, very big warehouse with a beautiful actually walk-in showroom.
Things have changed mainly in the sense of what we actually have in the shop.
We have a lot more order. I brought some experience I had before and make logistic a little bit more smooth.
Even though I've only been here a short time, things are always changing. We're always getting new stuff in. There's always, you know, new issues with suppliers or new suppliers that we're dealing with. We've just got a big partnership with ProShar, which has really shaped things up in the warehouse and shaped things up with some of our events that we supply paint to and some of our suppliers that we supply to.
Got to be Gassy Patterson, without any shadow of a doubt. Gassy's my favourite customer. He's that guy has got to have every new piece of paintball equipment that has ever been brought out. And do you know something? He's just a great lad. He's a great lad. Backed up, by the way, by a great missus. So his missus is number one as well. But Gassy is definitely not just a good friend, but he was a customer and he's just become a good friend as well. So I would say he's definitely my number one customer.
Working with the firearms squads, it's nothing better than like 3 or 4 burly actual firearms units coming in with all their full kit, teaching you about what the real firearms are actually looking to do and actually have in their training.
Well, obviously most customers are memorable because in paintball you meet so many different types of people, and I think that's what makes paintball great. It's people from all different walks of life coming together to do something that we all love. I would probably say Alan Murray back in the day. I think he helped us go in the direction we did, and he gave us a lot of help at the start. So I'd say Alan Murray just for his passion for paintball. Unfortunately he doesn't do it any longer, but definitely got us on the right foot when we started in paintball ourselves.
All of our sponsored teams are all great. I mean, to be honest with you, everyone generally we come across at events, everyone we deal with customers-wise, are all characters in themselves. We all have a good laugh with them all.
Obviously we get to meet a lot when we go to big games. There's a lot of customers there that we might only see that one time a year even. You know, the best thing about paintball is how diverse the customers are. You get to meet all different types of people.
Mayhem big game, purely just because of the atmosphere down there. It's generally red hot as well, which always helps, so everyone's just chilling out. The biggest thing I think is some of the other events, when the games are running, you kind of sat in a little ghost town on the stand, whereas the Mayhem, the way they set the little trade village up, you've still got access to actually view the fields from the safe zone in the trade area.
For me, there's so many good ones over the years, but I would probably have to say between Mayhem and Paintfest for two different reasons really. Paintfest for me because it really put the scenario back onto the map for a festival feel. It's fantastic and it's pushed scenario to a different level. Mayhem because I think they've looked at what Paintfest's done and they've adapted it as well, and they've tried to take on board what they've done and take it a little bit further. So I think them two stand out for me.
I think the best event I've ever played, and my personal favourite event, is a game called England versus Scotland, which is hosted by Sterling Airsoft Events. I played it for the first time last year, and that is the single best airsofting experience I've ever played in my life.
Mayhem big game. Used to be one of my old stomping grounds as a young teenager. Walking back into that site a few years later and actually seeing it grown over the years that I've been away, it was absolutely amazing.
North v South. Yeah, I mean, it's the longest running big game, the one that we've been to, going to the longest. But the amount of memories and the amount of friends that we've made at those events over the years it's phenomenal.
I would say it was Paintfest was my favourite event, but I do like North v South. I like the scenario events more than I like the tournament events because it's where we started. But I don't think now we have a best event. I think we have Mayhem, which is a great event, North v South, which is a great event, and Paintfest was also a great event. But I've got to say that I did like Paintfest because it wasn't just scenario, there was a mix of things going on there, it was a festival.
First most important bit of your kit has to be the goggles. If you can't see anything, you can't shoot anything. My favourite mask at the moment of time, I'm going to be biased, I'm going to go with the KLR still to the day.
Tipman TPX pistol, just only play with it for years now.
Die I4 or the rotor, just because I think to have a good product it has to be around for a long period of time to see the quality.
In general now, my favourite product is the EMEC by Planet Eclipse. There's never been a better time, I don't think, to get involved and be able to get such good kit at such a low price.
The Shocker paintball range, like the guns, just because that's what I use. I've used it since it came out and it's just been flawless.
The Vortex optics, just for how clear they are, the quality on them is just outstanding. Also the fact they come with an unlimited lifetime warranty.
Tipman. I worked 15 years for Tipman, and that gun, that field gun, you know, the FT12 for me is, you know, has been a build up from the 98s all the way through. But I would say FT12, A5 are my two favourite products.
It can be a pain. Obviously he's my dad, so working with your dad, obviously you have to have respect, but at the same time we do definitely hit heads at times and argue things out, but I think we always come to the right decision after that. So definitely difficult, but to have someone with as much knowledge as he has now working for BZ, for me, has been the biggest, or one of the biggest assets that we've picked up over the last 6 months.
Funny, things get heated in the office a lot between Thomas and Paul. I've learned the best way for me to behave in situations like that is just to bite my tongue and hide in the corner.
Can you take him out the office? He can be a pain sometimes, he can be hard on you when he needs to, but I mean generally he's pretty laid back unless he has to crack the whip.
Great sense of humour, very, very enthusiastic about his way of thinking and his passion about going about things.
Well, you barely don't understand anything about him, so you just need to think about what he's about to think before you even think about it. And then we can work nice.
He can be very enthusiastic about what he does, that's for sure, but in the same sense, he's never wrong, which is one thing I've learned in a good few years now. It doesn't matter how right you are or how much experience you've gained in the past or anything like that, Paul's always right and you've got to come to terms with that.
Paul is an interesting person to work with because you never quite know what he's going to throw at you. He's a really kind person, and I think if you work under Paul, he will do anything for you as long as you work hard for him.
He's great, he's very ambitious, very driven. If it wasn't for him, we'd still be in the smallest unit that we started in. You know, it's him that drives us all forward to do better things, really, and to improve.
It's like Paul in miniature, so hopefully since I worked for, 8 years with Paul, it naturally translates into not understanding him either.
Thomas is a great boss, to be fair. We've had some really good fun times together. He's obviously very strict, but at the same time, he's strict in the sense of he wants to make sure that I do well.
He's a pretty nice boss to work for. Like I said, they let you get on with the day-to-day run-ins unless they need to step in.
I think Thomas just says things how it is, for better or worse. I mean, if you're messing up, it's good to know, and he won't dance around the subject and he won't make you wait. He will come to you directly and say, this is what the problem is, this is how we need to fix it. But likewise, if you're doing something good, he will always tell you immediately, and he's very upfront, and I appreciate that.
We're both very similar in how we are and what we do, so therefore it's very difficult to ever come to a decision, so we do fight quite a lot. For me, my case is based on experience, but I've got to say, to be honest, I mean, his buying ability and the way he actually does all his purchasing is far, he's a stronger person than I am in that quarter, 100%.
I regard Neil as a friend as well as a boss. I had some fun times with Neil.
He spent too much time with the two others, so same answer.
Neil is probably the most fun boss I've ever had. Certainly when he goes to going to events and after hours activities, definitely the most fun I've ever had has been with Neil drunk in a camper van. He's
very knowledgeable in his field. He's far more knowledgeable than I am at a lot of areas, so it's good to learn under him. He's very open to what other people have to say as well. He doesn't, just because he is very knowledgeable in his field, he doesn't think he knows everything.
Everything Thomas is, Neil isn't. And everything Neil is, Thomas will never be. So for me, they are a great blend. But I've got to say, the one thing about Neil is, I've seen him change over the last 10 years from being a very quiet person to become, a lot more, vocal to match the business, I would say.
Neil, who I'd probably call him the silent assassin, man of very few words, but when he does talk, always talks with sense. I would say he keeps me on a straight line because I'm quite hot-headed. I always want to, buy all this and this and this, and he's like, be sensible, pick things properly, and I think he's a massive part of the company. So it's always been fantastic over the 20 years to work with Neil.
Demo isn't working?
Demo's good fun. He's sort of like this weird uncle, big brother that's kind of, he's always there. He wants you to do well, but in a pushy way.
And Demo just tells it how it is all the time. He runs a tight ship and he's very organised in his way, but he also does like to have a laugh.
Demo's like a third son. He's very loyal. He does everything that we ask him to do, and he goes above and beyond being an employee. Yeah, I consider him as part of the family.
Demo is a nightmare.
He's great with customers. His paintball knowledge is second to none.
It's probably the most passionate of us and probably the most messy, so as soon as I keep out of the warehouse, my sanity stays here.
Definitely the stranger uncle out of the two that I've gained here.
We have a good working relationship. He knows when I'm not happy, I know when he's not happy, and at the end of the day we just work together to make sure that he achieves his objectives and the company achieves their objectives.
John's a fantastic salesman. Well, the positive for the customers, he's always looking after the customer, getting him exactly what he wants. From my point of view, he always seems to sell what we don't have.
John's a great guy. He absolutely loves paintball. He's crazy about paintball, and it tells in everything he does. He's so passionate about it, it's ridiculous.
Pain in the ass. That's it.
It's quite different working with Pierre, I think more so because of the background he's come from and the job that he used to do. He's good to work with. He's got a very good attitude towards work. He does brilliant things for the warehouse. He's organised it absolutely fantastically.
The crazy Frenchman. What can I say about Pierre? No day is ever the same.
What I like about Pierre is that he's got a good mind for just being a bit silly. So a few weeks ago, we realised that we had an enormous amount of stocking of a new Prol hard case, gun cases. So we decided, right, what can we do with these? So within about half an hour, Pierre had constructed a tower which nearly stretched to the top of the warehouse that he could stand at the top of and hold up his gun as if it was like an armed guard at a castle, and we took some photographs of that.
He's French.
He drinks a lot of coffee. He's very hard working. He's brought, if you'd seen our warehouse before Pierre came to work for us, compared to what it's like now, you wouldn't believe the difference in the level of operation that we're running. He's transformed it completely, brought a lot of knowledge from his warehousing background in the past.
It can be a bit mad and hectic at some stages having a Frenchman actually managing your actual warehouse, because it has different views, and some of the language he replies to you with when he wants it done his way is definitely difficult to understand for an Englishman.
If I have any sort of airsoft question, Joe will be able to answer it and give me further details that barely anyone else would be able to.
Obviously he's from a different planet, because Joe's Airsoft.
Joe is probably the most laid-back person you'll ever come across. He only ever has one speed and it's pretty slow.
He's fantastic. I mean, he's been with us a couple of years now, and his airsoft knowledge, the amount of airsoft knowledge he's brought to the company, I mean, I really don't think we could have picked anybody better for the role.
Airsoft knowledge second to none. He always helps me out when I'm struggling.
Very professional. His job is marketing and he's a creative writer, and at this moment in time he's definitely taking the company in a few different directions.
The greatest thing about Lewis is he has a real enjoyment of paintball and learning about it, because he's never done paintball before and he's never really been interested in it. So he comes in and it's great for us because it gives us the aspect of someone who has never played paintball, and he gives us feedback.
He's only been with us a short time, he hasn't been with us very long, but he's already brought, because he's not got a paintball or an airsoft background, he's brought a lot of fresh ideas in terms of how we're marketing. Pretty easy. He does what you ask him to do when you need him to do some product stuff, so yeah, pretty good.
Lewis has been a great influence to actual BZ and Zone Paintball. He's come in with a fresh pair of eyes.
He asks a lot of questions, but we need to make sure he prefers paintball over airsoft. That's our main goal for 2020.
He's done some really good things on the social media side. He's been an absolutely fantastic asset so far, and hopefully he'll stay with us quite a long time.
From me, thank you to everyone who's bought stuff from BZ Paintball over the years. Like any company, we're not always 100%, things go wrong. Hopefully we're one of them companies that stands up when it does go wrong and tries to fix the problems and solve them. And we do our best to try and give you the best products all the time. But without you guys purchasing off us and buying off us, we wouldn't be who we are, so thank you.
Thank you for making us the size of company we are today, for your support over the years. But the biggest thing I want to say to our customers is just keep playing paintball, just carry on playing paintball.
Keep on supporting us really, because without you lot we wouldn't be where we are today, so yeah, just keep being awesome.
It's been an absolute pleasure working with you for the last 6 years, and hopefully we can keep that up into the future as well.
Our company, when we first started, and is still the same principle today, was built on service and looking after all the people we sell to. We'd never sell anything we couldn't look after. We'd never ever take advantage of the customers that we have, because for me it's not about selling them that first paintball marker, it's about selling them that 10th paintball marker. And those people will only ever stay with you if you look after them with the first paintball marker you sell them.